speak, I had so much respect for him.
A lot of people did.
What's that, bud?
A lot of people did. I mean, there are a lot of people that were surprised by his decision not to recommend. They thought he was going to recommend, and that Loretta Lynch would just ignore the recommendation.
Exactly. And then when you really go to searching about his background and the fact that he was a U.S. attorney when we had a DEA informant participating in murders south of the border, and he was aware of it. I mean, it's just an HSBC, a money laundering operation.
2016. The call-in number.
Remember when I was telling you about Nugenhan Bank and BCCI and so on and so forth? Somebody's always willing to step into the breach and get this money laundered because it has to be done. It has to be made right.
Yeah,
and we have criminals running our government. The FBI, if he is the leader, is the biggest mob in the nation.
I hate to say it, but this is tarnishing the reputation of the FBI, and you've got a lot of good agents out there that are being dragged down because of this. And I'm not going to.
It's no problem for them to create a DEA task force and elevate some local police to it so that they can take on new talent, because it's obviously been subverted. And, I've watched it. I've been involved where they've actually trampled on my Fourth Amendment rights and so on and so forth, just because they had a feeling. Not that they had any proof, but they just felt as though it might have been something. And, the fact is that these people have constructed jails, and we have so many jails and prisons that we have to have contractors build it, and we have a whole industry that's locking up people who have no way of keeping the weight of the government off of them.
Absolutely. There was what was it just recently? It's in my paper pile here somewhere. A judge was recently given 28 years for a conspiracy to lock up juveniles that should not have been locked up.
No doubt.
He was just.
If you are not the elite, you're screwed. And if you're screwed in the courts today, you will be screwed in the streets tomorrow.
I am a strong law and order kind of guy. But I'm talking about constitution.
That's America, right?
Yeah. I'm talking about constitutional law, not right. These haphazard crap laws that we seem to be getting on a daily basis.
Oh, and the fact is that the Republicans, when they say, well, George Bush should have won, when you were saying about Perot getting into the race. Well, Perot knew what George Bush was. It didn't take much tickling from Bill Clinton to get Perot to do what he wants. And Perot knew about this stuff going through Arkansas, too. Perot was a hero, and he said a lot of good things. But the fact is that they couldn't lose because George Bush and Bill Clinton represented the same people.
That may be, but, I think Perot was the wrong, as some of the good things that he said. Look, I admit it, I voted for Perot. I did.
I didn't, no. I voted for George Herbert Walker Bush, even when he was saying that there was a new world order. See, I was working around Naples and Fort Myers at that time, and there was a Christian radio station there, WSOR. And I would listen to WSOR when the first Gulf War was going on. And the evangelicals were so up in arms about the New World Order because they understood what that meant. And so you see the evil bent, the drug dealing, and here's, the CIA may have been against it. They may have even assassinated Kennedy for it. But the fact is that the ones who were running it, like the Young Turks and the mob, against the old boss's wishes, is the only example I can give for it. They went ahead. And they did it because they knew that it would sell. Well, see, they had financial backing. You don't get the job done if you divorce yourself from the government, because the government had the money to run these operations that they were doing. But when they divorced themselves from it, after Ted Kennedy and Church and everybody got on them, they created their own, and they went forward. And they subverted America with a cascade of drugs across the spectrum into every neighborhood, especially HUD neighborhoods. You know, they introduced them there, and they made money hand over fist. You know, but that heroin coming back out of Vietnam and cadavers, that's no BS. It really did.
No, there are a lot of people who are talking about that, and again, there have been people talking about the poppy fields of Afghanistan being protected by U.S. soldiers.
Yes, and also in Afghanistan, Rod, the Chinese have invested in the northeastern corner there, and our military protected their investments there. And they have built roads all the way up there. You know, they took Tibet, they got roads up to Afghanistan, and they got a heavy gauge railroad that's mostly cut through mountains, so it's hard to get to. And they can haul a lot of heavy equipment up on that hill there and roll it right to the Middle East. I mean, so it's huge. It's really huge. You know, when you take a look at the Philippines, you were mentioning the Philippines, there's a lot of methamphetamine hitting the Philippines coming from China. They got the drugs, the chemicals to make it, and they know how to process. Just like anything else, the Italians learned to cook off the Chinese. So everybody learns something from somebody else, Rod. And the fact is that America is not looking at history. There's going to be a drug epidemic come across America, the likes we have never seen. Look at it. Let me tell you what, MK Ultra is a serious thing. They opened up demons with that stuff.
Well, look, they tried to bring some of that stuff out in his defense attorney tried to bring some of that stuff out in court, but they were blocked on some of that stuff. And look, we know about the gun running the government was doing down in Mexico with some of those guns, with serial numbers being excoriated off and that type of stuff. And we know that there were guns used against Border Patrol agents, and one was actually traced back to the government, our government, that killed a Border Patrol agent. So this stuff is known. But my whole problem is that we keep electing the same idiots and fools who do this kind of stuff on a constant basis. And then when we catch them, like Hillary, we let them off scot-free. Otherwise, if you're just a regular, ordinary citizen, not only do they want to throw you in jail, they want to throw you under the jail and then forget about you.
Well, you have no voice about that time. And the people who have control the system go out there. You have a bunch of metrosexuals in Congress that they're soft-spoken. The women feel as though they're a good candidate, and they vote for him. And when a man like Trump comes out and rails, oh, my goodness, he's such a terrible man. Well, you know what? I never cared for Trump until he ran for president. And as soon as he opened his mouth and started speaking everything that I feel, and I realized that he's a man, so he's imperfect. So presidential candidate Trump is better than the man that I thought I had some semblance of knowing in the 1980s. Of course, I didn't know him personally. I only got to see what he would do in the business world and so on and so forth. But the fact is, the parties have failed America, just as George Washington said that they would, to not put faith in parties, but to be American. So here is fearless leader, Obama, telling us America is not worth nothing, and that's been reinforced in the colleges and the universities to our young, who don't know anything about George Washington. except that he was a slave owner and his dentures were made out of wood.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's absolutely true. I can't tell you how many millennials I've run across and had conversations with that actually use these words, I hate America. Like, I want to slap them, seriously, but those words come out of their mouth.
In New Jersey, I employed a guy just for a few days. We had a contractor come on the property, and a couple of his guys, I said, hey, when you're slow on work, give me a call. And when they were slow, I put them to work. Of course, that's just the way it is, they needed work, and there was cash involved. Those days are slowly coming to an end because they're going to have control over everything. You can't have cash. So, they came on, the guy says, I'm an anarchist. And I said, man, you can't be an anarchist. Oh, yeah, anarchy. I said, anarchy is a foreign idea. I said, don't you understand that our revolution is the most pure? That we actually treated those people who would do us dirty well, as long as they treated us well, and when they didn't treat us well, we treated them worse than they treated us. So, that's what America needs to do. America needs to treat those who treat us well with good intentions back. And those who do not have our interest in mind and who would do us harm and tearing us down from within is harm, then we must treat them exactly like they need to be treated. And there's no difference. Foreign enemies or domestic enemies.
That is absolutely correct. I mean, look, I'm not saying that the USA is perfect. Far from it. I'm not saying it was begun on a perfect note. Again, no country is. But at the same time, you can't have your own citizens being taught to hate their own country. That makes no sense.
Well, that's what the government does. The government has been seized by the elite. The universities have been seized by the elite. The young have been seized by the elite. And you are being told where to go and what to do, and they think it's okay because they know something. They've been taught, and they can recite it, but they have no ability to figure things out.
Well, it's all, to be frank, it's all about globalism, one world government. See, if you hate your own country, where does that leave you? Well, we need to have a globalist type of governance. Because you can't. If you hate your country, I mean that means you hate your government, and you hate its people. So how do you change that? Well, you have to go through a global governance, and this is the reason why some in the European Union. I can't believe how many Americans are livid about Brexit. I mean, it has nothing to do with us. Why would we even care? To the extent that other than, financial information that would become, financial issues that would arise from this stuff that would easily be ironed over, a number of years probably, but it still would be easily ironed over. Why is it that Americans feel that they're the ones that have been slighted by the British wanting to leave the EU? Well, because the EU was all about coming to this one world government via the UN, and all of a sudden the British said, oh, we got what you're doing and we're not going to be a part of it. That's why they're mad at the Brits.
Well, they're mad because of what they see in the media. The Brits got out because they know where the EU is going. And let me point this out. The Dutch. Everything goes back to Brussels. And Brussels wants to rule the world. Now, you think, well, the Dutch never really had a real fine military force on the field. But what they did was they concentrated on the money. And so they want to run the show from Brussels. And this is what the problem is. It's old stuff made new and packaged. So if someone's saying to you that they don't like Brexit, well, then you say, well, what about Trump's policy on NATO? How do you feel about that? And the mouth will go open, and they'll catch flies because they have no idea. They only see the news, and they only get what they get from Clinton News Network.
Well, that's why I'm here trying to educate people as
You're
best
doing
I
a
can.
great job, Rod. And there should be thousands of people flocking to you, and the communities that should be coming together shouldn't be separate communities. They should be Americans. All Americans. That's what we are. All Americans. And people forget that. They have no cohesive.
No, because we're constantly being divided into smaller and smaller subcategories and subgroups. So that's
exactly. It's why in World War II the Raiders were disbanded, because they didn't want para-Marines. They wanted Marines altogether. Marines were elite in and of themselves, so they didn't want an elite group within them. But they do this on every level so that they can weed and think and divide and garner someone they can use, because they're always elevating someone from the young section, the young sector. They cultivate and they make them the way they want. It's happened over centuries. It's no different. So our young are at risk. Anyone who just sent their kids off to school here this morning in America has done their child wrong.
I've always said, why do people still send their kids off to these government indoctrination centers that we call public schools? But
yeah, and see, Rod, if we all sat down and did a 3-day strike and did not do anything for 3 days, you would really find out who runs America then, because that would throw, and I got to say, the French. That's what the French had. They would stick together in a strike, and it was over and over and over again. You had examples of this. And what the French did with this Paris bombing is they've militarized their country. And I guarantee that the next major strike that tries to cripple France, they will have their heads beat as if it's Selma, Alabama.
Well, having been in Paris and seen the military firsthand out on the Paris streets was a little disconcerting, but understood why they did it. But
well, you can understand why they did it, because they let their borders open, and so the understanding does not equate to it's okay.
No, absolutely not. Like I said, it didn't. For tourists, it's kind of daunting who are not used to seeing people.
Yeah, why would you go to Paris when there's Monte Carlo? The heck with the French.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much. We're off to a commercial right now.
God bless you, Rod.
Thank you. We'll be back, folks. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
How would you love to shrink your waistlines fast and easy? Visit shrinkingwaistlines.com. Learn the secrets that so many people are now learning. It's the best natural way to lose weight. Get this, you don't even have to exercise or spend hours at the gym, and you'll never have to starve yourself ever again. Visit shrinkingwaistlines.com and get the 23-second waist shrinking exercise. That's so simple you'll be shocked to see the pounds just fall off. That's shrinkingwaistlines.com. It's time to get into great shape today.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
How would you love to have your very own money-making website? Well, now you can. Just visit onlinehealthsource.net and become an affiliate, promoting and selling some of today's hottest new products like anti-aging creams, supplements for him or her, HGH products, weight loss supplements, and much, much more. That's onlinehealthsource.net, offering you the chance to earn great money online, promoting products that everyone wants. onlinehealthsource.net. Sign up today and start your own online business right now.
603-672-0573 is the number to call should you wish to join me here live on the Rod Eccles Show. Yeah, go ahead. Give it a call. I mean, still waiting for those. Love all these people that claim that they know what I'm all about. And yet, none of them really want to try to even take me to task on what I'm saying on the air. Kind of interesting. Love people who are, all talk, all show, no action. Look, I've said it before. I mean, I have no problem going on to a liberal-based talk show. I've been banned from a few of them, probably more than a few. And I've done interviews on liberal show, and at the warnings of some other people who are in my corner, and hey, Rod, you should be careful. You shouldn't do that. They're going to try to. I know what they're doing. I am well aware about those people who try to do these ad hominem attacks and the sabotagery and all that kind of stuff. Look, I'm just going to be. Remember when Rosie O'Donnell tried to surprise bash Tom Selleck for being a supporter of guns, and he just basically told her, in a nicer way than Donald Trump would have just called her a fat pig. But Tom Selleck basically did the same thing, but he was a lot nicer about it. And I'm not that nice when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'll call a spade a spade. Doesn't matter. As people who've been following me since 2009, they know I do not care what other people think of me. And I'm just going to say what I believe is true. And if I think that you're acting like a fat pig, then I'm going to say you're a fat pig, and I'm just not going to play the political correctness game. It's not going to be, you can't say that. That's going to hurt somebody's feelings. Oh, well, they better man up, pull up their big person's pants and just take it. Okay, because we're supposed to take it, right? We're on the right. We're supposed to take anything and everything that the left says. Right? But the left doesn't have to take anything that we say, right? Is that correct? No, that's not correct. I'm going to pound the you-know-what out of you. If you're wrong and you're trying to perpetrate a fraud on the American people, I'm going to go after you. And why do we got to do? What's with all these people got to be wimpy all the time type of stuff? It just doesn't make any sense to me. This is America, man. We're tough. We don't take all this stuff lying down. We get up and we kick butt. Well, that's my attitude too.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Butte. FBI Director James Comey is testifying before the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee about his recommendation that charges not be brought against Hillary Clinton for her email crimes. Chairman Jason Chavez of Utah says he was mystified at how the director could come to his conclusion.
But I am mystified, and I am confused, because you listen to your fact pattern and come to the conclusion that there is no consequence. I don't know how to explain that.
Comey told the committee that he stands by his belief that no prosecutor would bring charges.
So given that assessment of the facts, my understanding of the law, my conclusion was and remains no reasonable prosecutor would bring this case.
Lawmakers have agreed to an aviation bill that will boost airport security, reduce screening lines, and address the lost luggage dilemma.
Lawmakers agreed to step up airport security by authorizing the use of twice as many TSA teams, including bomb-sniffing dogs that stop and search suspicious passengers, check airport employees, and perimeter security. To shorten the security lines, lawmakers will have the TSA hire a marketing firm to increase awareness of the pre-check screening program. Airlines will have to refund baggage fees if luggage is lost or missing for more than 12 hours. The bill includes rules on drones, but omits privatizing air traffic control. Jackie Quinn, Washington.
Massachusetts is about to approve a transgender bathroom bill without really dealing effectively on the subject. Charlie Butts reports apparently no one had the courage.
Massachusetts House and Senate negotiators have completed a compromise bill to allow men into women's facilities and vice versa. The finished product contains a section calling for sanctions against anyone who makes an improper claim of gender identity. The House and Senate are expected to vote and send the bill to Governor Charlie Baker, who is expected to sign it. Brian Kamaker of Mass Resistance tells AFN there will be no problem in either house, especially the Senate.
The momentum helped that the president of the Senate is himself a homosexual who's engaged to be married to his younger boyfriend. He's like in his 60s and his boyfriend is like 29. And he's a big supporter of this.
Kamaker says one of the reasons the bill is sailing through is because traditional values groups have not wanted to attack the issue head on. That is, that transgender people are suffering a psychological problem called gender dysphoria, and many are delusional. He says it would have helped if they simply challenged the measure with the truth.
You know, our side is full of a bunch of conscientious objectors in this war. Unfortunately, they like the fight from an intellectual standpoint, but they're not willing to really get their hands dirty, and that's too bad. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
I'm Charlie Butt.
And finally, there was an interesting battle between victim groups in Toronto over the last weekend.
It was a parade organized for one of the self-proclaimed most marginalized groups in all of Canada, or the world, if you listen to them. In the middle of the parade, this was the chant.
Black lives, they matter, hey!
So, was this an African-American pride parade? No, it was Toronto's gay pride parade. The city's Black Lives Matter movement was invited as the honored group for the parade and returned the favor by shutting it down for more than 30 minutes with a list of demands for the gays. Black Lives Matter organizer Alexandria Williams spoke with CBC News.
Today we held Pride accountable for their anti-blackness, for their anti-indigeneity, for the fact that we have been pushed to the margins way too long.
It's sort of interesting to see the forces of intolerance drowned out by another force of intolerance.
Peter LaBarbera of Americans for Truth says homosexual activists are getting a dose of their own medicine.
I think that's a comeuppance that perhaps the radical homosexual lobby deserves, and I think more and more we're going to see the left at war with itself.
It's a conflict, he says, that is inevitable.
All the victim groups are going to start warring against each other because there's only so much victimhood to pass around. Which is probably why we see all these phony hate crime hoaxes being perpetrated by the left.
I'm Steve Jordahl.
American Family News is online at onenewsnow.com and on the One News Now mobile app.
You slip away for a weekend of relaxation, but wake up to find yesterday's scratchy throat feels like a fiery furnace. Your weekend could be up in flames, but for MD Live, 24/7 access to board-certified physicians anywhere. MD Live is used by major corporations and the American Family Association to augment employee health care benefits. Information to determine whether MD Live makes sense for you is available at hcbenefits.com. hcbenefits.com.
The difference. Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws costs that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-600-9471. That's 800-600-9471. 800-600-9471.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome back. 603-672-0573 is the call-in line number. Doesn't matter where you are listening to this. If you're listening to this live, you can use that number to call in toll-free under most calling plans out there today. Military Times. New VA study finds 20 vets commit suicide each day. Roughly 20 veterans a day commit suicide nationwide, according to new data from the Department of Veterans Affairs, a figure that dispels the often quoted problematic 22 a day estimate, but yet soldiers solidifies a disturbing mental health crisis of the number that the number implied. So 20 vets a day dispels the notion that 22 a day kill themselves. What? Two? They're off by 2. So instead of really focusing on the fact that they've done a study and found that it averages 20 a day, they're going to focus on, well, see, you were wrong about the 22 a day. In 2014, the latest year available, more than 7,400 vets took their own lives. Accounting for 18% of all suicides in America, veterans make up less than 9% of the U.S. population. About 70% of the vets who took their own lives were not regular users of VA services, and indeed, they couldn't get VA services. 7,400 vets. Look, I'm in no way going to blame the vet on this. You know, we ask them to go through hell. I mean, you've got, let me just tell you something. If you want to understand what vets have gone through, and the vets will tell you this themselves, if you want to understand what they've gone through, then you need to watch movies like Private Ryan. You need to watch series like Band of Brothers, because the realism in that photography puts those vets back in those battles. They said it is the closest thing to cinematography to the real thing that they have ever seen. And if understanding that what you see on that screen, big or small, when it comes to those films, if it's worse than that, when I first saw Saving Private Ryan, I was shell-shocked because I could not fully understand how any human being could operate and keep their wits about them under such circumstances. Well, they were trained. Don't give me that they were trained. I mean, you're talking about training that prevents all aspects of self-preservation. And you know that it was worse in jungle fighting like Vietnam, and it was worse in places like Afghanistan and even Iraq, when you don't even know if the person that, going around the corner, you're trying to help somebody, you don't know if they're going to actually, jump up and turn around and shoot you instead. We ask our vets to go through hell. And then when they get back, we want to ignore them? Kind of like the line in that wonderful movie. That put Glenn Close on the Hollywood map. All vets should be standing up saying, I'm just not going to be ignored. These men and women deserve so much more and so much better than we're giving them. There is absolutely no excuse for this number to be that high. Now, can we prevent 100%? No, we can't, because human beings are human beings, and you're just not going to be able to prevent 100% of this stuff from happening. But I bet you we could cut it in half. Isn't that worth it? Wouldn't it be worth it if we just stopped one of them? If we helped just one? The contribution that they give back to society would be immeasurable. If we could just save just one every year. So instead of roughly flat $7,400, it'd be $7,399. That's a start. And the worst part about it is how difficult it is in this country. Believe it or not, how difficult it is to really get true nonprofits off the ground, especially if you're going to be a conservative. And we saw what happens with the IRS targeting certain groups. I tried to put together, and I'm not going to stop trying. Eventually I'll get it done. I was trying to put a group together. Now, I don't think the name was taken, but if you want to take it and run with it, fine. As long as the vets get help, get the help that they're entitled to, that they deserve. I don't care who gets the credit. But there needs to be a warrior group out there, warriors for vets, because somebody needs to go to battle for these people. Somebody needs to go to, political war for them, because they're not getting what they deserve. And we're seeing this in these numbers. I mean, this is abhorrent. These men and women answered the call to duty for their country. Their country said, this is how you serve the United States and its citizenry. This is how you're going to protect the people in the Constitution. You're going to go here and do war, or you're going to go there and you're going to do war. You're going to risk your life. Some of you are not going to come home alive. Some of you are not going to come home at all. And those of you that do get to come home, well, we're going to take care of you. And then when they do come home, we don't take care of them. It's a travesty. Eventually you're going to get people that, well, already starting to see the man bun crowd. As the last caller said, the metrosexuals. There's nothing wrong with looking your best. There's nothing wrong with being a metrosexual, as long as you don't take it too far. Don't become a femme. It's great that you want to, look your best all the time. Yeah, I get it. But when you go to when you have to go to lengths of trying to look pretty, not look handsome, but look pretty, there's a problem. When you spend more on, do you folks realize that there's now cosmetics out there geared towards men? Now, I know back in the colonial days, men wore makeup. And they had the powdered wig thing and all that kind of stuff. And nobody would ever say that George Washington was a sissy. I get it. Well, that was a different day. It was a time that, that the French did it, and the royalty, aristocracy, the wealthy, they all dressed that way. I got it. That was a fad. That was the fashion of the day. Today, it's not the fashion. Men are not wearing a particular fashion. They're just putting on makeup. And makeup is now being marketed directly toward, hey, you want to look like a, androgynous person? Want people questioning your sexuality? Then this male makeup is for you. No, I'm sorry. The only time I put on makeup is for Halloween. I'm not going to put on any makeup any other time. That is not a guy. That's not a man. That's not male. That's not masculinity. Yeah, what we know about masculinity doesn't change. How we express it changes. Now, sure, maybe at one time, it was very masculine to have, your ears pierced and your nose pierced. But we're in a different era now, and that does not denote masculinity. In fact, that denotes just the opposite today. And so does a man bun. So we got more guys out there who put on makeup and wear man buns than who are willing to man up and go into the military, because we have the feminization of the American male, of the Western male, actually. It's not all that much different in many European countries, really, at this particular point. Now, let me tell you something. The East is laughing their you-know-what off at us. Because when the crapola hits the fan, you got a bunch of real men versus a bunch of sissy boys. Guess who's going to win? Just saying. And what we're doing to the real men and to the real women is we're causing that, we're twisting them. We're destroying them. And instead of giving them help, we ignore them, and then they end up destroying themselves. But hey, wear your man bun and put on your male makeup, and you'll get all the kind of, public assistance and mental assistance you need. Yeah, hey, you think that you're a woman? Sure, we'll give you all of the assistance and mental help that you need to become a woman. But if you're a guy, a man dealing with demons from war that we sent you to, no, wait in line, mister. Just wait in line. Wait your turn. Because this person who wants to be a transgendered female, this guy who wants to be a woman, he's moving to the head of the line. Because that's more important for us to treat him so he can go and take his hormones and get his surgery than to treat your real mental disorder. I mean, that's it. What? It is a travesty. It makes one almost ashamed to say that you're an American when stuff like this happens. It shouldn't be happening in America. At the one country on this planet, something like this should not happen, is in the USA. This is just, we'll be back. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
How would you love to shrink your waistlines fast and easy? Visit shrinkingwaistlines.com. Learn the secrets that so many people are now learning. It's the best natural way to lose weight. Get this, you don't even have to exercise or spend hours at the gym, and you'll never have to starve yourself ever again. Visit shrinkingwaistlines.com and get the 23-second waist shrinking exercise. That's so simple you'll be shocked to see the pounds just fall off. That's shrinkingwaistlines.com. SammyRosetteJr.com. It's time to get into great shape today.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
How would you love to have your very own money-making website? Well, now you can. Just visit onlinehealthsource.net and become an affiliate, promoting and selling some of today's hottest new products, like anti-aging creams, supplements for him or her, HGH products, weight loss supplements, and much, much more. That's onlinehealthsource.net, offering you the chance to earn great money online, promoting products that everyone wants. onlinehealthsource.net. Sign up today and start your own online business right now.
603-672-0573. The American Mirror has a piece here. Nancy Pelosi blows off traffic laws to shop at a shoe store. Oh, well, you know, she's one of the liberal elite. She gets to shop the way she wants to. U.S. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi is above the law, as St. Helena, California residents learned last month. Local Paul Smith, local to St. Helena, California, wrote into the St. Helena Star newspaper in June to describe Pelosi's recent shoe shopping excursion at a fancy boutique, prompting a response from Police Chief Bill Imboden, I-M-B-O-D-E-N, about the former House Speaker's special status. Last Sunday afternoon, June 4th, I'm standing on the west side of Main Street, directly across from the Hunt Avenue intersection, chatting with friends. Of course, traffic was heavy in both directions, Paul Smith wrote. A large, perfectly polished and gleaming black SUV is attempting a left turn from Hunt onto southbound Main. Not an easy task. Suddenly, blue-red lights are flashing from the windshield area of the SUV like you would see in an official fire police vehicle, he continued. I said, my friends, I've never seen that before on a regular vehicle. And I think that's illegal and dangerous. That's when the large black SUV jolted across 2 lanes of traffic, lights flashing to park in front of a fire hydrant at the End Shoe Boutique Foot Candy. A St. Helena police car happens to be going northbound and pulls into the center lane, and the officer starts shaking his arm and hollering at the driver of the SUV. While this goes on, a man exits the SUV, assisting a woman from the vehicle. She dashes off to Foot Candy while he waits by the SUV in the red zone. Red zone, no parking zone. The police officer then drove off without confronting the driver. My friends and I were puzzled. Say goodbye, and I walk south on Main. As I approach Foot Candy, Nancy Pelosi comes out with her shopping bags, and the man assists her into the awaiting SUV. The SUV, with lights flashing, bursts back into southbound traffic. Privilege, power, whose SUV? Taxpayers, he questioned. Say it ain't so, Nancy. The Star contacted Imboden about the episode. He responded by saying, the St. Helena Police Department has received similar complaints in the past, and on occasion we come across a scenario like what is mentioned in the complaint. Unfortunately, law enforcement enforcement has no authority to prevent this type of activity. The U.S. Capitol Police and the U.S. Secret Service provide dignitary protection for certain high-ranking members of the federal government, and this protection comes with the discretion to violate some state and local laws. Illegal U-turns, parking in a red zone under the guise of providing the best possible protection for the dignitary. In the case of Congresswoman Pelosi, she receives her protection detail from the Capitol Police. As the chief of police in St. Helena, I can assure you that we don't like or condone her behavior, but can tell you from personal experience that while they sympathize with the position they put us in, they will not alter their tactics to appease us. Anyone who wishes to lodge a complaint about Congressman Pelosi can email her at the following. Screw emailing her. How about the cop, the chief of police, stop being a wimp and just enforce the law and let them figure it out. You know, you don't get to break laws simply because of your position. That's ridiculous. So you can go shoe shopping. No, if a Republican did that, they'd be all over this. The press. But it's, Her Highness, Queen Pelosi, I used to call her another name, Queen Biddy. I guess that you're not supposed to do that, though. Oh, well, that's what she's acting like. So they can break the law. They're above the law no matter what. Simply because, they're a high-ranking federal official. Oh, BS. No, I know. It's kind of redundant because if you write them a ticket, who's actually paying the ticket? Well, the taxpayer is paying the ticket. I get it. But, and if they don't pay the ticket, what are you going to do? And who are you going to end up arresting? The only person that you can't arrest the occupant of the vehicle. You can only arrest the driver. Well, if that's what it takes, then I say you start doing it. And then these people who are, I don't care if they're Capitol Police or Secret Service, if they have to go through the hassle of this constantly, let's say some of these people, hey, look, they're going to have a record. It's going to be a record of what they did. They'll eventually get the hint that they're not above the law and stop acting in behavior that's dangerous to the rest of the public. I'm sorry, but you don't get to ride roughshod over me. Even if I did vote for you, I'd never, well, it wouldn't have been Nancy. I couldn't vote for her anyway, but even if I could vote for Nancy, I wouldn't vote for her. I'd vote for whoever wasn't Nancy Pelosi. Kind of like some people are talking about this time around with Clinton and Trump. There are people out there saying, well, I'm not necessarily for Trump. I'm just voting for whoever isn't Hillary Clinton. That's pretty bad, actually. When it gets to that point, that's pretty bad. I'm almost into that. You know what? Quite frankly, even though I know who he is and what he's all about, I would probably vote for Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton. I am also in that camp, anybody but never Hillary. And it's pretty bad that we're put in that kind of a position as citizens and voters in this country. We should definitely be able to have somebody that we can get behind wholeheartedly and support, not vote against all the time. That really sucks.
Hi, this is Matt Lagore. Listen to me Fridays 4 to 5 p.m. on WLMW 90.7. We'll be talking about entrepreneurship, personal growth, business, or anything else inspiring. See you then.
Hello, this is Dr. Roger Gosselin of the Dr. Roger Gosselin Health and Wealth Show. Make sure to tune in Thursdays at 5 o'clock right here at 90.7 FM WLMW to find out more about what the drug companies don't want you to know.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Hey folks, if you're anything like me, you spend a lot of time taking photos with your mobile phone or posting them to Facebook or Instagram. Well, did you know that you can actually be earning hundreds, even thousands of dollars each month just by uploading them to Instagram? Now, most people are skeptical at first, but this system is the real deal. You can get your hands on an evaluation copy of Instagram Profit, and you can be ready to see money flowing into your account. There are over 150 million users on Instagram, yet less than 1% of them are taking advantage of these money-making secrets. Now, if they knew they could be paying their rent, making their car payment, or just snapping photos and putting them onto Instagram, I bet they would be glued to their cell phones. There are only a limited number of these spots available, however. So if you visit moneymatters3.com right now, you can sign up to take advantage of all the special discounts. That's right, go to moneymatters3.com and get all the info there. moneymatters3.com. Log on now.
How would you like to stress-proof your money and have a roadmap to ease your financial life? Well, now you can. Just visit besttoinvest.net. They offer today's best source of information and advice on finances for the millennials and iGens. You will be provided a key to the system that shows you how to set up your money to automatically fill up your savings, set reoccurring payments to bills or credit card without worrying about missing the due dates. It will even let you focus on the things that really matter, like learning new stuff, hanging out with friends or family. This system works for anyone, even you. That's besttoinvest.net. Why wait? The time is now to take control of your financial future. Visit besttoinvest.net today.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Bring the rain.
603-672-0573. Give it a call. Give that number. Use that number to call should you wish to join me here live here on the Rod Eccles Show. Anti-Sharia video is pulled from YouTube due to hate speech rules. Now, here's a story from the Daily Caller. A video produced by Counter Jihad, critical of the Muslim Brotherhood, Jihad, and Sharia law, was removed from YouTube on Tuesday due to the company's hate speech regulations. A video titled Killing for a Cause, Sharia Law and Civilization Jihad was uploaded to YouTube last Thursday. I am stunned at the policy that YouTube developed for the express purpose of fighting Islamic State propaganda is now being used to silence critics of radical jihad. Jim Hansen, the executive vice president of the Center for Security Policy, said yesterday on Wednesday. Hansen added, instead of counteracting radical propaganda online, these policies are now being used to silence the very speech that YouTube said it wanted. Speech that challenges ISIS. But YouTube's hate speech policy states that hate speech refers to content that promotes violence or hatred against individuals or groups based on certain attributes. These attributes can include religion. Now, as I have often said, you have to understand, you do not have free speech rights on any of these platforms. Any of these social media. You don't own them. They can put criteria, whatever criteria they want on their sites. You don't have to use them. I don't care how profitable or how prolific or how popular the site may be. You don't own the site. It's not a public site. It's a private site. I know that they want, these sites are geared towards the public coming to them and using them, and the public adding content to these sites. You know, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, all that kind of. But you still don't own this. I want people to fully understand. You don't own those sites. You don't own those companies. They're still private. They still get to set the rules. So if you are ever shocked and surprised by something like that, I'm not shocked and surprised by this. Which is why I tell people, look, you need to diversify. I in this day and age, I cannot understand how it is that some groups, organizations, companies will put almost all their eggs in one social media basket. That has got to be the dumbest thing I've ever. Look, if you're going to put your stuff up on YouTube, great. But you better upload it in other places too. You better upload it on Vimeo, and if it's short enough, I guess Instagram, and what's the other? Not Snapchat, but what's the? There's another one. I can't remember them all. And put it up on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and Google Plus. Put it up everywhere. Upload it directly to those sites. Don't do the copy from YouTube. This is what a lot of people make the mistake of. Well, I did put it on Facebook. Yeah, but you used the YouTube link, didn't you? Yeah. Well, you didn't upload it to Facebook then. Oh. And just and a lot of sites today. WordPress, there's plugins and everything for your own sites that allows you to upload video directly to your site. You don't have to use these others. I mean, just saying. You want to be able to use all these other platforms, all these other sites, yes, but you don't want to give any of those platforms or sites an exclusive to your material. Because if they remove it, your material's gone. And if somebody wants to be pro-jihad, then pro-radical Islam, if you believe that they are, why are you still using their service? You know that they're only going to root you out in the end. I mean, and then you're going to be shocked. I can't believe they did that. Well, hey, let me give you an example. Zinc Media and I, still, no matter where we're broadcasting from, Zinc Media and Rod Eccles own the Rod Eccles Show. Nobody else. So I can put this out anywhere I want. Now, if another network doesn't want to air the program because they don't like what I say, that's their prerogative. I can't force them. But what they do not get to do is define what this program is all about. Period. If this program is, if it can garner sponsorship the way it is, great. If not, it means, there's not a market for it. So I move on. Not a big deal. So if YouTube says, no, you can't put that kind of material up on YouTube, then don't use YouTube. I don't know why we got to go through this constantly. How many? I understand you can be upset that they remove something of yours. Yeah, I personally have never had anything removed that I know of on any of my social network accounts. I don't. And I'm not going to say that they're afraid to do so. I don't think so. I've put some pretty bombastic, adversarial, non-PC type of stuff, posted stuff like that. Based on the criteria that these people are saying that they've had their stuff removed. I'm surprised I haven't had any removed. I don't know why that is. I can't second guess. I mean, there have been times when I've tried to post something or try to share something, and they say that, well, you can't share it from here, and then I go around it and I just go directly to the site itself that it's being linked from, and I still am able to share it. They've made me go through extra steps on occasion. I've never been blocked from posting anything. Some people get blocked all the time on Facebook. I don't understand it, because I post stuff and I have posted negative stuff about Ted Cruz on Ted Cruz sites, on Facebook, and I have never been blocked. The only time I've been blocked is when I was on Blog Talk Radio and I would call in to liberal talk shows, and those talk shows would block me. But basically I couldn't call in. They didn't block me from listening. I just couldn't call in. That's the block that you get on Blog Talk Radio. Just got barred from being able to call in. That didn't hurt my feelings at all. But I've never been blocked on any network, any social media site. I don't understand how some people get their stuff taken down or blocked. I really don't, because it's never happened to me. Knock on wood. That'll probably happen all the time. So if it does, I'll just use a different medium. There's too many mediums out there for me to complain about one. But it's the biggest one. Oh, screw it being the biggest. It's not the only one. And is it the biggest with the audience that you're trying to reach anyway? I mean, stop looking at the number. Yeah, there's 1.1 billion users on Facebook. Well, you know what? If your interest is centered on the United States and say maybe Canada too, well, you only got 350 million people by then. So is 1.1 billion really worth it? Because all 350 million Canadians and Americans are not on Facebook, obviously. So who cares? There's 1.1 billion users. At most you're only going to be good for 300 million, right? So who cares about the other 700 or 800 million? So don't fall for that trap either. Well, it's the biggest. Well, so what? Big in what capacity? Does it matter? No, it doesn't. Hell, some people think, well, geez, you gotta be on Facebook. No, you don't. I actually know quite a few people that don't have a Facebook profile, personal or business. And they're living just fine. And their businesses are doing just fine. Just saying. I mean, a lot of people don't go over to YouTube. For whatever reason, they just don't. Well, and frankly, I go over to YouTube, sometimes. But frankly, I've eliminated a lot of categories because I was starting to get suggestions of stuff. I'm like, where the hell are they coming up with a suggestion? There's no way I'd be interested in this particular type of video or subject. Why are they saying this is a suggestion? Because they're pushing an agenda. They're pushing an agenda. But, that's their, I don't own YouTube. So they can push the agenda that they want to push. It's their site. My choice is I don't have to go there and be exposed to it if I don't want to. Plain and simple. So, I'll still use YouTube. I can use it to my advantage. And until such a day where it is not useful to me, I'll, like Facebook. When Facebook stops being useful to me, I'll stop using it. Which, by the way, is really kind of getting to that point right now about Facebook. I'm being serious. It's not as useful as it once was. I know there are people out there saying, "Well, Facebook is all it, man. It's like the new Google," and no, it's not. But if it works for you in any capacity, great. Keep going. Don't stop. Tweak it. Make it even better if you possibly can. But just don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they sting you a little bit. And see, because I've spread myself over multiple platforms. Now, if one stings me, and nobody has yet, but if one does, it won't hurt too much. Matter of fact, depending on the platform, if that particular platform stings me, it may not hurt at all. Now, even though I like Google Plus, if Google Plus were to shut me down tomorrow, it wouldn't hurt me one bit because I guess it's just one place that I don't have to worry about on a daily basis. No big deal. And there's always some other new. Look, a couple of years ago, Pinterest wasn't around. Now Pinterest is there. People use Pinterest like crazy. Other than people trying to post really nude stuff, I haven't heard of people, pornographic stuff. I haven't heard of anybody being shut down on Pinterest. And by the way, if you want to, if you're into that kind of risque type of posting, you just go over to Tumblr. Now, I'm not on Tumblr. I have no interest in doing Tumblr. I've looked Tumblr over and found that it was of no use to me. Now, maybe in the future I'll change my mind, but I don't have to use it. I don't like what they stand for or what they're, what they do and the postings that they allow. I don't want to be involved with that kind of stuff, so I don't. So don't be surprised if people put that stuff up there and then sometimes it gets taken down. Well, just understand you don't own the site. And by today's standards, if you have halfway decent knowledge of coding, I guess it's not too difficult to be able to write code to be able to do that kind of stuff yourself. Start your own social network. Come up with, don't say you can't. Look, like I said, Pinterest wasn't always there. Somebody came up with the idea of Pinterest and they wrote the code and there you go. They did it. Why can't you? Start your own. There is a service out there that does allow you to start your own social network on their platform. I don't know exactly how it works. Ning, I think Ning.com is still out there. Not too familiar with it, but yeah, you got to pay. But hey, if you're going to have your own network, your own site, you're going to pay for it anyway. So I don't know if you want to do that. Try Ning. Start your own social network. Try Ning. And there might be others like it out there. Ning is the one that I know about. And then, then you can do whatever you want. Will other people come on board? Yeah, that's the rub. That's the question. I don't know. Hey, Facebook didn't always exist. Neither did MySpace. Remember that? Remember MySpace? Or better yet, let's go way back. Remember Friendster? Yeah. Somebody always comes up with something new and better. Here's your shot. You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
How would you love to shrink your waistlines fast and easy? Visit shrinkingwaistlines.com. Learn the secrets that so many people are now learning. It's the best natural way to lose weight. Get this, you don't even have to exercise or spend hours at the gym, and you'll never have to starve yourself ever again. Visit shrinkingwaistlines.com and get the 23-second waist shrinking exercise. That's so simple you'll be shocked to see the pounds just fall off. That's shrinkingwaistlines.com. It's time to get into great shape today.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
How would you love to have your very own money-making website? Well, now you can. Just visit onlinehealthsource.net and become an affiliate, promoting and selling some of today's hottest new products, like anti-aging creams, supplements for him or her, HGH products, weight loss supplements, and much, much more. That's onlinehealthsource.net, offering you the chance to earn great money online, promoting products that everyone wants. onlinehealthsource.net. Sign up today and start your own online business right now.
603-672-0573. That's a number that you should keep in your Rolodex. I know that's old school Rolodex. Remember Rolodexes? People don't have Rolodexes anymore, do they? They still have, yeah, some people still do. The old school people still have Rolodexes. If you've got one, put that number in it. Yes. Call it. Have a talk show in your Rolodex. That would be cool. Germany is shutting down construction of its offshore wind farms. Guess why? This is from hotair.com. And this is one of the things I've always said about this kind of garbage, because people always, the left always talks about global warming this and global warming that and man-made global climate change this and man-made global climate change that, and the animals and the birds and the trees and the bees and the grass blades. And even that undisturbed grain of sand has a right to exist. Liberals and eco-warriors in the United States often point to Germany and Spain, before Spain nearly went bankrupt, as a model for the future when it comes to questions of renewable energy, including the Dutch. The Dutch are, hey, their country has nearly 100% off-grid energy power. Well, that's because the Germans have massively increased their output of wind and solar resources to the point where they account for nearly a third of their total energy production during periods when demand and wind and solar supply peak. At the same time, they have briefly managed to supply virtually the entire country's needs from such resources. That's great news, you would think. Well, if that's the case, why are they halting construction of any further wind farms? Here's the rub. Germany plans to stop building new offshore wind turbines to lower the cost of electricity and prop up its ailing power grid, according to a revision to a new energy law. The revision of the law will come into force at the start of 2017 and will sharply limit the construction of new offshore wind farms. This is being reported by Reuters. The motivation behind the law is that Germany's over-reliance on wind power has pushed up electricity costs in Europe's biggest economy and places strain on its power grids. Germany now has electric rates for consumers that are among the highest in the world. Energy poverty has become a reality for millions of German families, says Myron Ebel, director of the Center for Energy and Environment at the Free Market Competitive Enterprise Institute, as he told the Daily Caller News Foundation. So in other words, all that green energy is creating energy poverty. It's forcing people into poverty. And I thought the left was all about, the poor and keeping poverty at bay. And Germany, by the way, doesn't Germany have a national living wage, minimum wage, I thought? But yet they still have people in poverty in Germany. And some of the people are in poverty because of energy costs. And these energy costs are high because they're using too much wind and solar, which is not efficient and is tearing apart their energy electric grid, contributing to the high cost of energy or electric cost, which puts people into a situation that they now call energy poverty. So yeah, this is what they want to do here in the United States. Just so you know, this is what they want to do here in the U.S. of A. Barack Obama once said, they can build that coal plant if they want. We'll bankrupt them in the process, but they can do it. What he failed to tell you is that not only will he bankrupt the coal industry for wanting to build coal-fired power plants, but he'd bankrupt the American consumer through electric rates going through the roof. And we would have a new class of poverty in this country called energy poverty. Although I think we already have energy poverty. Isn't that why we have, what is it? One of the, Joe Kennedy is down in Rhode Island. Isn't that why he was taking some of that Venezuelan oil? When everybody else here was saying, don't buy anything Venezuela, because of Chavez, who's now dead. Yeah. But hey, Joe Kennedy's, I'll take the oil, who's ever going to give it to me, I'll take it. By the way, now all of a sudden Venezuela wants to open up, have better channels of diplomatic relations with the USA as their country falls into complete and utter disarray and talk about poverty. There's a lot of poverty in Venezuela, a country that is loaded with oil. How does that happen? I don't know. They're putting up windmills offshore? I don't think so. And somebody better get down to Venezuela and see if they're putting up windmills offshore, because Germany's already tried that and they found out that it doesn't work for them. I don't know. Maybe somebody ought to look out see what's happening down there in Venezuela. They can't even get toilet paper in the grocery stores or convenience stores. Maybe they're going to have to come up with, toilet paper package stores only. Can we help them? Do we need to send shipments of free toilet paper to Venezuela? I don't know. Hey, socialism works every time it's tried. Not. Well, that's it for me today. Tomorrow's Freedom Friday, folks. Be here. Until then, I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. I am out. Poverty. Can you believe that?